Jersey wants to be the hot spot. We offer a 40% tax rebate, which is insane for a production. Atlanta doesn't come close. LA comes similar. Toronto, a little bit, but you've seen it with all the tariffs on Europe. A lot of productions go there because it's more feasible. But because there have been tariffs installed and we're starting to focus on bringing productions back to the country, Jersey wants to be the hot spot for that. So we made a competitive tax rebate, and because of that, we had Netflix that came here, I believe it was 3 years ago. They came here to assess some property of an old military fort called Fort Monmouth. They bought it out, and now they're building. We also had Lionsgate that came to Newark, New Jersey, of all places, and now they're building out their own studio lot. And just maybe about 4 weeks ago, Bayonne, New Jersey, it was owned by a New Jersey independent studio called 1888 Studios. Paramount is on the hunt, and Paramount wanted in on this, so they see the potential. They made a 10-year lease, and now they're building right now. So we have 3 studios competitively building and more coming out because of the 40% tax rebate. So right now, Jersey's in a golden age of production.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin End.
And I'm Shane.
And today we're joined by my man, Kevin. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Vin. Hey, Shane. Nice to meet you guys. Kevan Ali, film director and writer.
Great to have you here, my man. So, guys, listen, today, as Kevin just mentioned, he is a film director and writer. We have a lot that we're going to go over in today's episode. Kevin is building the new hub for actors, actresses, and all types of big Hollywood movies. Don't want to miss this episode. You want to tune in, and you're going to want to see where is this next spot going to be at. He's also going to talk a little bit about what it takes to truly build a successful film, how everything comes together, and how it really parallels building a business, and what the biggest and most important components are to being a great director, producer, and film writer, to be able to make things from start to finish. And he's got a lot of really great insights that you guys are just going to want to listen to. He's got a wealth of knowledge. He's been doing this his whole life, and he's going to go through a little bit of his story and how he got here. So, Kevin, we're excited to jump in on this with you, my man. Let's get into it.
Sounds great.
All right, Kevin. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you're doing it?
Yeah, sure. My name is Kevan Ali. I'm a writer, director, and newly inducted Chief Creative Ambassador for the New Jersey Film Initiative, or we call it the Film Readiness Program, in my area of Sussex County, New Jersey. I've been working in the industry for about a little bit over 15 years now, been raised in it indirectly, had a lot of experiences on set, and now we're building the next chapter for New Jersey with the whole film and television movement, bringing all the studios out to Jersey as a new film destination.
Interesting. And so you're an acclaimed filmmaker, director, producer, and writer. Mm-hmm. You've been recognized for a lot of your short films. What does that mean, though? How does one get recognized for short films? There's tons of short films and indies and all these different things. How does someone earn such a phenomenal title as an acclaimed filmmaker?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of filmmakers in this industry are all gunning for the end result where we want to be, in the spotlight for our work, for our art. What separates me from the average person is that my network, right? I was born and raised indirectly in LA. I was mentored by a lot of celebrities, music artists, producers, execs. This wasn't just a one-time thing at a certain age. This started from the age as early as 12 years old, going all the way up to now, where I'm 34, where I've learned to use my network and learn how to get through the industry through backdoor channels, understanding what it takes to make a film, and using that as my focus, then jumping into the content, if that makes sense. So a lot of filmmakers that are trying to make it in the industry are trying to put the content forward rather than putting the networking and business aspect first. So for me, I've been lucky enough to have family in the industry, have friends. Well, it's insane now. My first film, which I made, was called Emerald Ties. It was a short film. I took a step back from directing. I was directing some stuff 10 years ago. So this was about, 2 years ago I made this. And at this point now, my leverage in my network was very, I would say very substantial compared to when I first started getting into the business years ago, maybe over a decade ago. I didn't have the assets I had now. And once I got to that, I started realizing how can I really use these assets to my advantage now that I've gained them over a certain amount of years. Now, when I say acclaimed filmmaker, I've also been writing for the studio. So I've learned a lot of experiences, made a lot of connections because of the studios I've written for, which has been phenomenal. And to be a good filmmaker in this industry, you have to be a great storyteller, not just be a visual and audio person. You have to be well-rounded in this whole creation of the arts, to say.
I kind of want to expand this a little bit here because I feel like lately the movies have just been crap. And what I mean by that is they've just been crappy remakes, or there's just been sequels and prequels. There are Disney's coming out with some other crap again.
Right.
So I love the mindset and the vision of storytelling.
Yes.
Right. So, and you obviously want to get shown for your work. I'm very curious. What is that? Where do you want to be? What is the ultimate goal for you? Like, do you want to get acquired by Netflix, which I feel like you could probably do right now, and just show some more of your films? Do you want to create bigger picture films? Like, what specifically is the end goal for you?
Straight ahead is to be a fully fledged blockbuster director that's in charge of original content rather than just treading old ground, doing sequels to unnecessary IPs, because we're now in the greatest time of content with streaming services, right? So a lot. What sucks is that we started to see this trend where let's make a sequel to this because it makes sense, or let's reboot this IP because it makes sense. The only reason these IPs that are being remade is because we're trying to get the studios money, and unfortunately, original content. Or IPs, we call them, intellectual properties, are such a risk now because it could be a hit or miss. I guess the perfect example of that would be Sinners. That's an original piece, and they did profitable, but a lot of studios are not willing to take that risk to invest in new IPs, like such as a Stranger Things or another hit show like Yellowstone. Those things are just liabilities, and I think for me. I don't mind directing IPs if it makes sense. But for me, I want to be the equivalent to what a Steven Spielberg is. And because of my upbringing in the industry, I've been around people that have been close to Spielberg, and well-named talent and music artists, and having that in-depth knowledge behind the scenes, you kind of can see like where the studio's heads are at in terms of putting out new content every fiscal year. Are they hitting the status quo for certain agendas? Or are they hitting their profits to stay marginalized and not be bought out by another studio? So those are the things I take into account when I'm making films now, more than ever. We have a short film coming out called Subversion. It's a proof of concept for a show. Think of Stranger Things meets Edge of Tomorrow. And this was an original concept taken by me. Now, what's interesting about my background besides film, I have family that's in law enforcement. So I was going to be a cop at the age of 16. I went to the academy. I learned a lot of skills there, but I knew it wasn't for me. My father was former law enforcement. So what was interesting with that is I took that skill set, the discipline and the use of tact and how to be, 7 steps ahead of your current trajectory in every move that you make, and applied that to the film setting. And that's gotten me tremendously far. I've networked with a lot of big people, and I've seen their mindset, but taking that mindset and also taking the creative aspect of that and creating something fresh and exciting is really what does it for me. And it's not a trend of something you've seen before, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just bringing it back to like James R. Cameron and, George Lucas and other famous producer directors like that. they were creators, they were visionaries, but they also knew what people loved. And I think that's kind of where the market's at, is let's create something that is safe, easy, what people love, where the money is going to attract. And then once you're well known, work on passion projects or whatever the case may be. So I now can visualize and see that. You brought something that really caught my attention early on, and I apologize for the shifts. It's just I'm really curious about this. New Jersey and New York in general, right? I know what's currently being involved with the new mayor that just got assigned to New York. It's just I feel that they're currently driving away money. They're driving away people with money, with the increase of taxes and things like that. So why would we want to build out a very expensive new Hollywood, right? I think that's what we're labeling it, or the Hollywood 2, whatever the case may be, into something that is driving away money.
Well, I can't speak on New York per se, because I know the mayor and the governor are there. They've had a film presence for a long time, but I think they went through a lot of trends that didn't seem to work. But what I can say is on New Jersey specifically, because it's interesting. About 2 years ago, I was made aware by the State Film Commission. They dictate all the big productions like The Joker, Sopranos. They all come here. That they're trying to make Jersey the new Hollywood. Now, to give you some context, back in the early 1900s, before LA even existed or people went out to LA, we used to be the old Hollywood. We used to have films like The Grain Train Robbery, some old great silent films, and then everybody got up and left to LA. And LA was, you were out there. You had a lot of great tax rebates and things that the studios can get away with that you can't really get away with on the East Coast, because you're paying permits, you're paying all sorts of fees to shoot something. But about 2 years ago, I had a film that reestablished me as a director, like I kind of mentioned. We had a big premiere of about 1,500 people. And because of that experience, the governor was made aware of what we were doing. And we were doing this in Sussex County, New Jersey. I'll give you an example. We're in the northwest tip of the state. There's nothing that goes on out there, right? There's farms, there's agriculture, construction, oil, you name it. But film was the last place that you would ever think could thrive off there. Because of my upbringing in Hollywood and me also living in Sussex County my entire life, I felt like this could be a home field advantage because of the amount of space that we had, and also the privacy that we have away from being in the city, right? We're about an hour and 15 from the city. So there's a lot of room that you could really mess around with, and nobody knows what's going on out here because nobody really cares, right? So the interesting is about, in Jersey is about 2 years ago, I was made aware of this, we call it the New Jersey Film Readiness Program. It's an initiative started by Phil Murphy. He wanted to get all the municipalities in order to benefit and build a new economy off a thriving film industry that should be returning here. That's one of his personal projects. So I was made aware about that 2 years ago, and there was nothing at all for Sussex. And when I looked more in depth, we offer a 40% tax rebate, which is insane for a production. Atlanta doesn't come close. I mean, LA comes similar. Toronto a little bit, but and I think you've seen it with all the tariffs on Europe. A lot of productions go there because it's more feasible. But because there have been tariffs installed, and we're starting to focus on bringing productions back to the country, Jersey wants to be the hot spot for that. So we made a competitive tax rebate. And because of that, we had Netflix that came here. I believe it was 3 years ago. They came here to assess some property of an old military fort called Fort Monmouth. They bought it out. Now they're building. We also had Lionsgate that came to Newark, New Jersey, of all places, and now they're building out their own studio lot. And just about 4 weeks ago, I've known about this for some time. Bayonne, New Jersey. It was owned by a New Jersey independent studio called 1888 Studios. Paramount is on the hunt, and Paramount wanted in on this, so they see the potential. They made a 10-year lease, and now they're building right now. So we have 3 studios competitively building, and more coming out because of the 40% tax rebate. So right now, Jersey's is in a golden age of production. And for me, as chief creative ambassador, I want to bring everybody up to my area to kind of leverage our assets and bring more productions here and boost our economy. But also at the same time, I could jump back in as a film director and do it all from home rather than going to LA, to New York, to Toronto. And that's what's been driving me for the past 2 years of using my network that I've built up over 15 years and leveraging my assets at home and doing a double whammy and trying to bring everybody here. And today we've made we got 2 big feature films that came up to the area and plenty more on the way with our proof of concept film Subversion that we're making specifically for the area to launch a television show for that area. So it's just trying to use my assets and my leverage and my network to kind of bring things up here and keep us one step ahead of the game compared to everywhere else in the state.
That's all great information. I'm buying real estate in Jersey. I'm telling you that much right now.
Good. Yeah.
The stars and the celebrities and the filmmakers, the directors and the producers, they're all going to be flooding in the next 10 years.
I will tell you, it has been a dream to work with Adam Sandler, right? So we had Adam Sandler's team from Netflix. They scouted Sparta they didn't choose our location, but to have the Netflix come up to Sparta, which is where I'm building my base, and scout us out was just insane. And we had other studios come up and scout us out as well, but we're on the cusp of something huge, and I think everybody now knows it. The trickiest thing was getting the county population on board with it, because when you think of film, you think of certain aspects and sides. And for me, I'm a no nonsense guy. I don't play politics in in this movement. I have to be as tactful as I can, because at the end of the day, everybody's making money from this. So that's the most important thing, right?
Right. It's an interesting thing, right? When you think film, the last thing you think is New Jersey. And
exactly.
Right, like there's nobody that's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go to Jersey for all the mainstream actors and stars and movie sets that are there. Like the day you hear somebody say that, you would think would be never, but it might be a future near us.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to think how things are evolving. I'm curious for you, Kevin, is there as an ambassador for film, is there a specific genre or a type of demographic that you're targeting? Or like, how does this stuff work? Like what exactly are you building if we got down into the nitty gritty of it? Like who's going to be there? Why will they be there? Is it for everyone? How does this work exactly?
Well, it depends, right? I mean, that's a great question, because when you think of film, there are obviously a plethora of genres, a plethora of different medias and demographics you're catering to. For us, what we want to do is we want to get the right kind of story here. And that doesn't mean we're limiting ourselves to certain genres. We want to make our county as feasible, as attractive as possible. So we're open to anything. I mean, to get Happy Gilmore 2 to come up here was a big deal. It started the whole domino effect. We've also had horrors that came up here. We had a movie called Offsite that was an indie that was reported in Deadline. I can't remember her. Her name is Sasha Pierre. She's from Pretty Little Liars. She's the main star of this whole film. She came out because of what we're doing, because the team that I built, they're veterans in the industry and also newcomers to the industry. So it was kind of an interesting mix. We were getting people that were connected in the business, but also people that were just connected to emerging directors in the indie space. So we wanted to cater to everybody, because the more projects, the more exposure, the more leverage, the more future productions can come to our area. And I have to think that in mind. And we're not limiting ourselves to anything, because in this business, especially with the film thing, people know people. So if they find a great experience in shooting in Sparta and Sussex County, that will have a domino effect, and more people will want to come out here, because we're way far out from the city, which is this sounds insane, but they like to be away from that. B, we have so much space that we could use. And for me, it's like we started a precedent with Sparta as the first town in films to be film ready in Sussex County. And then eventually we got every single town now to fall in line. And it took us 9 months to get this off the ground. Like we really moved, we accelerated, got super fast. At the same time, we built Subversion as a byproduct for the county, town to showcase to Hollywood, hey, this is what we can do. And I will tell you, this movie would have costed me $250,000, but we made it under 10,000 with some of the top talent and crew from all the major Hollywood blockbusters. Some of them lived in Sparta, and some of them came out just to do the film with us because we needed something up our sleeve that could be a wild card, and this film does that. It's a psychological thriller about an ex-federal agent who's on the run. He snipes a little girl in broad daylight, but is she real? And that's the crux of the whole film. And that film, for what it is, for me being in this industry for so long, I needed something insane. I needed this to be. I mentor kids and I teach kids in film school, films trade school, and I always tell people you need to have something called a Billie Jean moment, right? That's your redefining moment in your career, in your life, and it rechanges how everybody sees you. And this film is my Billie Jean in a sense, to the point where, how do I even describe this in the best way possible? In technicalities, right? An average film or short film, this is a short film, will have about less than 100 shots. This movie has 1,500 shots in 12 minutes. This is a beast of its own. And then at the same time, we have made over 110 custom sound effects from the ground up with the guys that made Call of Duty Black Ops. So I have the guys that are on sound design from Black Ops and music design. We have the Black Ops 6 and 7 music team on this, which has been insane. To kind of lift off some names on this, Steven Spielberg's lighting team from Bright Shot. They did Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Bridge of Spies. They lived in Sparta. So they came on board and they gave us their equipment for literally nothing because of this whole movement that we've been building at home. My producer on this, head of production on The Lighthouse, and my colorist and sound guy, my colorist, his name is Brian Smaller. He was on Forbes 30 Under 30. He's in LA. He's a senior colorist. He just did John Wick 4. He's done with Sabrina Carpenter, The Weeknd, Justin Bieber. And he came on as a friend of mine because we became friends through another project, and I used him on this. Again, you're leveraging your network to kind of promote your area the best way you can. And my sound guy, who we just got, was an Emmy Award-winning sound designer. His name is James David Rennick. He created sounds for The Matrix, The Americans, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We have an all-star group. And this is something that I wrote and created for my county and my town to use to bring everybody here. And also invoke a new crazy television show at the same time. So it's been crazy.
Is that TV show out already?
No, so this is a short film. It's going to be a prequel. It's going to be coming out on Prime Video this winter. We haven't released an actual release date because we're getting everything ready to host a major premiere for the film and have everybody from the industry come out there. So you guys, I don't know if you're in the area, but you should definitely come out and come see it if you're going to be in the New York area within the next month or so.
I mean, I want to try to encompass everything that is going on here because it sounds very exciting. One, I actually came from the LA side and moved to Las Vegas 3 years ago, and it's a nightmare what's going on in LA. And they're just not doing anything about it to clean it up.
Oh, of course.
The City of Angels, Hollywood, what it used to be, is a dying facade. Right. And this just sounds so invigorating and enlightening that people are just going to flock, specifically the celebrities, the movie stars, the directors, the producers, and they want land, they want opportunity. Everybody loves an underdog and a rising star. Like, this is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, thank you for the invite. I'm going to buy my plane ticket and I'm going to sit right next to you. Like, you don't even know, but we just became best friends.
Yes, we did.
And I'm also buying real estate out there.
Okay, good.
Right. First off, for the people to just give you things, they're believing in you for no budget, for nothing, for whatever the case may be. And this podcast that we do is for entrepreneurs, is for business owners. It's 90% men is the people who watch this. And it's so inspiring because we talk about networking and like AI and people like me specifically. When I first met Vin, I met Vin at a dinner. And like, we became best friends and we do these podcasts and, I'm investing into his business and other businesses that he has, and vice versa. This is what it's all about: is networking and shaking hands. Because without your network, you'd be nowhere. You can't do it by yourself. So I'm sure that's your advice. But and first off, Billie Jean Thriller was way bigger than Billie Jean. So I think we need to change up the Billie Jean reference to a Thriller one. But I still, rest in peace, Michael Jackson. Unless there's some more behind the Billie Jean moment.
There is one more behind it. That's the reason why I call it the Billie Jean moment. So I'll explain real quick. So you guys have heard of obviously traditional film scores and how it's orchestral and it's all out there with tempo movies. I think with this project, we had something special on our hands, and the amount of technical work that I personally invested. This took me a whole year to edit a 12-minute piece, which is unheard of. We needed the music to kind of try and break ground and reinvent how a traditional film score could sound. So we used Billie Jean as a heavy foundation in this. And my composer, his name is Jack Wall. He did all the Call of Duty Black Ops. And Rome's, which is a music duo group. They're a music artist. They're breaking out on Spotify right now for their innovative sound creation in rock and metal, and EDM too. But once I had all those pieces together, this is like my dream music team. I was like, let's look at Michael Jackson, because I think this could work from a story perspective. And every time you hear a Michael Jackson piece, there's rhythm in it. Like it's something so timeless. And I was like, what if this music could use influences from Michael, but make it a new pop track that's a movie score? Kind of like how Thriller was with their music video and other things like that. And they didn't expect that from me, because they were we're gonna make another Black Ops like score, or we're gonna make something more akin to John Williams. Like, no, we can put John Williams in there, but let's use Michael. Let's use Michael as our foundation. So I'm not gonna name drop any names, but I talked to a really big producer in the music game that was associated with Michael, and I'm very I do research heavy stuff before I delve into something. So I started watching a lot of homemade tapes from Michael, how he made Billie Jean, how he made Thriller. I listened to a lot of interviews on how he did it, and I tried to recreate that sound in this, but stack it on top of a movie score, but make it really cool and groovy. So you're terrified, but you're also tapping your thumbs, you're moving your head. And we had a lot of people like bobbing their head as the movie was gone. I was like, I was not expecting that at all, but it served its purpose, right? So we wanted to do something really different and try and change the game because of the assets we got through my network and all that.
This is all fascinating, man. I mean, I'm curious too, because I've actually one of my former clients was at least he had his own indie studio. Yeah, and he was a director, and there was a lot that really goes into this. For you, what would you say is probably one of the most challenging components of putting together a movie from start to finish? Is it finding the people? Is it the synchronicities? Is it the teams? Like, what would you see as probably the hardest endeavor in building a film?
I would say it's kind of universal in business, right? Having a solid vision. If you don't have a vision, you're not going to go anywhere. If you don't have direction, you're going to go. I think with Subversion, just as an example, I changed multiple camera guys, but my vision of how I was going to shoot it was still there. So I could take somebody that had an average camera and make it look extraordinary because I know the forethought of what I'm shooting. And I think that's a universal principle in life. Is like, if you know where you want, you know where your directions are, or you have goals that you want to achieve, you have to stick to that vision. You can't let it be wavered. Right. And I will tell you, this has been a dream of mine forever. I've visualized this about me. Like, it was funny. I woke up to shoot the film one day, and I'm waking up at 5 a.m. I'm having my morning coffee. I'm driving down, and I'm driving down to set, which is literally in my own town, which is 10 minutes away. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm driving to set. This is crazy. I'm not in LA or anything. This is not. And then I get there, and I'm putting in the work, and it's like amazing because I've always wanted this to happen at home. And the thing with not only just being a director, but now being an ambassador for film and television. When I got the opportunity to make Sparta a film town, I never wavered. I was hesitant at first because this is new ground for me, but you're always going to find new ground to tread on, and it's going to be, daunting, and you don't know steps you might take to effectively pull it off. And for me, I was in that mind space, and I was like, you know what? Let me just stick to the vision I want. Let me write out a couple goals and let me just put it. And the first thing was get a studio here, right? We want a studio here to be our end goal. Second thing was we want to build a committee. This is before we had our Sparta Film Commission right now, but get a group of people that know the right assets, vet people properly, and get them in. And third is building external partnerships with studios in LA and Toronto and Miami, and trying to get people to come out here and scout out here. So this was in February of 2024. I took on this journey, and by September or October, we pulled it off. We pulled off everything but the studio aspect, until Barnlight Studios came to us in the beginning of next year, which was January or February of this past year. And they wanted to build up here, and we supported them. We jumped right on this because this is everything I wanted. And if I can build a playground for myself and other people to come here, then I can make all my movies here. I can leverage my network. I can tell the studios, hey, I'll pitch this idea to you. I can shoot it in my backyard for 2 months for a 40% tax rebate and additional incentives because I'm chief creative ambassador of the area. And it was a no-brainer. So we had our first 2 feature films that came out. One I just told you was Offside. Another one I can't talk to you about yet, but it was made by Clark Duke, who was on Hot Tub Time Machine and The Office. And that had Ron Perlman in it. So and that was right up the street from my house at a strip club that I was able to bring all these people out here. And I'm not done. I want to bring everybody out here because I don't want to have to go anywhere. I could wake up, go to set, shoot my movies, go to LA, take my meetings, come back, do everything else from here. And at the same time, trying to get bigger studios to come out here. Because now we already have one studio that's being built right now, or being in conjunction built. But I want to get an Apple or Amazon or even another major competitor. Yeah. Because it's what we're seeing right now, crazy times. So I had to take advantage of that was given. And it's been insane,
I mean, this is everything that I've been saying. I'm in. Let's go.
Okay, cool. Yes. Yeah. Let's go.
Everything that you're sharing, this vision, this dream that's actually coming to fruition is super exciting. I'm so happy for you. That you don't usually meet entrepreneurs and business owners that knew what they wanted to do, right? Obviously you transitioned from being in law enforcement and actually followed your passion and your ambitious and your dreams, and through blood, sweat, and tears and hard work, you created a network and you just stuck to what you were great at. You don't see too many people like that. It's just, you're a shining star. It's just, not to toot you up, guys, I've never met this guy, right? We've been 45 minutes, but if you're not feeling the same thing that I am, then you're on a completely different podcast than I am. So anyways, I had a question, but I completely forgot. I really look forward to meeting. I can't wait for this, movie to come out. You said winter time. I don't know if that's in this next month or this next couple of, weeks.
It will be within the next month. I think the biggest hurdle we're fighting right now is just getting the venue and everything for the premiere first, because the plan is to put it out through a premiere, and then a week later on Prime Video, that's going to be our distributor for the short film. So then everybody can jump on and see it after it's done. But I will tell you, from all the early looks I've been given to people, I've shown this off to big celebrities, big music artists, big producers, and they were all floored because of the assets that I was able to pull off in Sparta, but also at the vision of this movie itself. We had to be bold and ambitious, and I didn't want to play it safe. I've been playing it safe a lot in life with this career, and to the point where I was like, there was a lot of things that I've seen that I sat on the sidelines on, but with this, we have to be bold. We have to take a new direction, and we have to push the industry forward if nobody else will do it. Because
I would like to second that notion. As a entrepreneur and business owner for the last decade, there's times to play it safe and there's times to push the chips all in.
Yeah.
Really, I've gotten on the close of bankruptcy in my businesses and countless sleepless nights on how am I going to afford to feed 500 people that's on my team. And sometimes you just have to double down, figure it out, and push all in, because it's those bold moves, it's those risks that you take it to the next level.
Yes.
And to be honest, like, look where you're already at. Like, the fact that you were able to take this and meet the mayor and create this in 9 months, that's unheard of. I thought for sure you were going to say like 9 years or a couple of years.
Yeah.
And now, like, look at the companies that are like scouting you out. Netflix, Paramount, Lighthouse, I believe, was another one too. I mean, these are the biggest guys in the industry. I'm just flabbergasted right now.
Not to cut you off, but it's like when these things were happening, we jumped on it immediately. We didn't want to delay. And because this is, at the end of the day, it was crazy because I thought I could run this, but at the same time, I was like, running this is not my forte. The best business is having people that can run certain aspects of the company. I'm a creative guy. No, I can run a business if I have to, but I don't want that forte. When I was putting together this group, I found a guy named Frank Dolce. He's a SAG actor. He's been in like Sons of Tucson, One Life to Live, a bunch of other stuff. He's a little bit younger than me. But we had that same rapport. And I was kind of like Nick Fury assembling this group together. And we had to find somebody that could really run this commission that we formed this past May effectively. And the mayor couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it because I want to focus on getting back to filmmaking. I just want to build the infrastructure, have it up and running, and then I could just jump back into what I'm doing now at home. And then I hand the baton off to somebody I knew that could pull it off because he's just like me in terms of decision making and making sure that we vet things properly and whatnot, because we treated it at the end of the day like a corporate conglomerate, So we wanted to make sure that we were doing we were hitting the right check marks and checking the right boxes and all that. And now that we have everything up and running, we have everything defined. Now the fun begins, and we can bring everybody here. But like it just is a testament to the vision I had, and I think that's where people get misaligned with their lives. And I'm 33 doing this, and I haven't even done a feature yet. And again, it doesn't mean anything, but it just shows that I have the same discipline and ambition to put these things into fruition because I've seen it, I've networked, I know how to use my assets, and I leveraged it with my hometown. And it's crazy because I could talk about this for so long. And people around me have known I've talked about this for years, and they're like, "Man, maybe it could happen. We don't know." And then when we got in control of the media and they started putting out articles of all this, everybody was stunned. They were like, I had no idea you were able to pull this off. And I was like, well, don't underestimate me, but that's the power of the vision and putting in the work,
See, but this is the difference. This is why we call it the 1% podcast. When you talk to entrepreneurs and business owners, their first initial mindset is, I have to do everything. I have to figure it out. I have to be the best at this and this and this and this and this. What you did is you know what you're good at. You know what you're not good at. Right. You essentially either delegated or you shifted to somebody that was their gift. That was their genius talent. That was what they were going to excel at. So you could focus on what you excel at.
Yes.
That is a huge, huge gift that not a lot of people have, is finding out that I need to stay in my lane and I need to find somebody to help me with this. That's how you grow rapidly. And that is with the power of networking. That's what we preach all the time. If you want to get better at it, find somebody who's better at what you're currently doing, learn from them, and find out what they're doing. If they have a huge team, maybe that's the process here. Finding out what your genius talent is and staying in your lane and actually shifting this in here. Anyways, I just think that one spur moment that you actually had there, because that deserves so much spotlight.
Thank you. And just to piggyback off what you said, and that's great leadership, right? It's the team has to be a reflection of you, because at the end of the day, if the team's not reflecting you, you're not doing your job right. And how do you do your job right? Delegating. That's what good leadership is. If you're somebody that's trying to make an agenda, you want to have certain people fill certain roles, and you don't want to overstep them, because it's crazy. In the beginning, when we put this group together, we had a lot of people that were fans of film, but they weren't in film. And the biggest thing I had to do was to find the right people. And that, like, Frank was one person. Another person we found, a couple other women came up to us. And when I realized we had a solid core group, then I needed something for us to work on. Like we're just a bunch of people around a table talking about film and stuff like that. Let's make something, right? And that's where Subversion came, because originally we were going to make this a television show pilot in the same universe, but we couldn't get all the financial assets. So I pivoted and put the commission people on to doing the work with me on this, and we made it happen. This is where all the costs have been dumbed down. We saved a lot of money because a lot of people that joined our commission were jumping on this as their first project. And we made this film for, like I said, almost $10,000 when it should have been almost $250,000, maybe a little bit over $250,000. And that was a testament to the leadership that I instilled in them, that I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to do this. And as we went through making this film, we found our strengths and our pros and cons. And then when it came time to forming the team officially, we all knew our roles now because we all got acclimated with each other through this project. And now we're an effective unit, and it's just like, well, every month we have a meeting and we sit down there. I don't say anything unless I actually have to say anything, but everybody else gets a chance in the room, and I just sit back and I'll give my 2 cents, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, I smile, even though you can't see it, that this is all a culmination of all the work I put in to make this happen. And it's just crazy. And then now just waking up and seeing Shane, I gotta tell you, everywhere I go, they're like, you're the guy that does film. This all is because of you. Man, this is fucking awesome. I always love film. I'm like, wow, man, this is crazy. Crazy.
Love it.
And that's just the start.
Yes, that's just the beginning, you know.
Well, this is a very promising beginning for New Jersey, for, well, I guess everything that you're doing. And honestly, I'm excited to see where this goes too. I will obviously be here in New York, so I will be attending your event.
You're already on
happily. That's it. That's what I'm saying. I'll happily be on the red carpet with you. So, Kevin, we are running out of time here. This has been absolutely phenomenal and insightful. I have a couple quick final questions for you.
Yeah.
One of them being, obviously you've been doing a lot, you've seen a lot, you've been building, you've been learning, you've been growing. What is one of your best pieces of advice that you want to leave our audience with?
The biggest thing is to build your network. Use your network. Once you have your network established, then you can hit your strides and take off running. I stress that, especially for anybody that's an entrepreneur or business owner. Your network is going to make or break you. You can't do this on your own. You can be bold and ambitious to do it on your own, but make sure you have the right people around you first to support you in case if things go south. So I would say value your network, then make your content or make your business. Once you get the network and the friends set up, then you can realize what network you can pull and delegate to help support your endeavor, your business, or your movie. I've done this for 15 years. I've networked half of my life already. It's been insane, but I've learned so much, and now I know at this age how to apply it effectively to now get what I want and stick to my goals and my vision, and now it's there. Another thing is, if you're going to do something, if you're going to jump into an endeavor, make sure you have the right people. Don't just put anybody on your project or your business because you think they have better financial wealth than the other person. Make sure you properly vet every single person. So even though if this one person has less money than another person, that person has more knowledge in the avenue and the industry you want to go into. Because you just don't want to go into a total bankruptcy mode or find somebody that's conning you and having more money but spending it unnecessarily in different things that you don't want to be spending it on. But
Makes sense.
That's it.
I love it. So where can people find you? How could they connect with you? What ways could they get involved in what you're doing, if any at all? Like, let people know.
Yeah, so I have two outlets. I don't really use social media as much anymore, but I'm very heavily involved on Instagram. My personal Instagram is at Kevan Ali, so KEVANALI. If you want to get in touch about our mission statement with the Film Commission and the whole film movement in Sussex County, you can find us on our Instagram page at Sparta NJ Film Commission. Send us a DM or a message on there if you want to get some new business. or bring a movie up here, you can talk to me, or you can talk to my representative. His name is Michael Puccio. He takes all my inquiries and vets it through me, and we can see what we can do from there.
Perfect. I love it, man. Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on, sharing all this interesting insight and wisdom that I didn't know about the film world. And I'm guessing probably a lot of our consumers and listeners here don't. So we really appreciate you showing up, hanging out with us. Stick around for a minute after the show. We got a few more things to talk about. And guys, there you have it. Go check out what Kevin's doing. Go, I don't know, buy real estate in New Jersey or fly up to New Jersey and hang out, see the new Hollywood as it's being created, and connect with our man over here. Kevin, thank you again so much for being here today, brother.
Shane, Vin, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Of course. Well, guys, there you have it. Another episode of the 1% podcast in the books. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, comment, let us know what you thought of today's episode, and we'll see you at the next one. As always, I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And that was Kevin. See you, everybody.
Guys.